Welcome to Women of the Mafia. I'm Bill Staxx,
I'm Lisa Lumine.
and we're here to talk about Women of the Mafia. So make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell so you can get the videos every time they drop. So today we're going to talk about Virginia Hill. First, how are you doing?
I'm good. I would love the montage at the beginning. Okay, so you show Virginia Hill walking out of court after she gets like shaken down by police and she looks fabulous. I just have to point out that every time this broad was like brought in to like be questioned, she always looked great. You know what I mean? I'd be disheveled and look a mess. So she was a tough cookie. I like her.
She always held her own too when she was being
Right?
questioned by people. Like there's the video. I'll play a clip of the video. Let me see if I could get it.
She was a tough cookie. So yeah, okay. So she starts, apparently from Alabama. Isn't that nuts? Kind of makes sense with her attitude. Like you can kind of hear the accent because I was often like, what is her accent? So she's from Alabama. She starts waitressing in a mob-run restaurant, gets connected with these guys, and basically is like hopping from mafia guy to mafia guy. And then she was running drugs too, and this is the 40s, so that's scandalous. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
She had quite the busy dance card too. This girl
bringing
was
money to
busy.
different people.
Yeah, yeah, and they loved her. Yeah, she was witty, smart, hot. Apparently she had a killer pair of legs and very witty. Yeah, you can tell that just from watching her in the court.
But she was young though. She was really
Yeah, super
young.
young. Yeah, super young. And there she is. Yeah, and she
How
had
old?
a really unique look. Oh, I think when she started, she was like a teenager. I think she like started when she was working in the restaurant. I think she started when she was like just turning 18. And it was like, through her 20s, she's like hooking up with all these mob guys. We were just talking about it, the Adonis guy. She was with him. Like, yeah. But I mean, then she gets brought into court and she's denying it left and right. And then she gets hooked up with Bugsy Siegel, who names the flamingo after her because of her long, sexy legs. Isn't that something? Apparently, that's why he named the flamingo after her legs. Isn't that nuts?
And
Yeah.
like you were saying before, she was a pioneer
She was
because
a pioneer. Oh, and listen, I just found something out. I was telling you this earlier. So apparently she wanted to do porn. And that's unheard of. I just got to say, for like a woman in the 40s, that is a pioneer because that is unheard of. There was probably like, what, 2 porns going around at that time. You know what I
even in
mean?
the 60s and
I mean,
70s, it was unheard of. So
it was
back
like
then,
unheard of. So like for her to even like cross into that and be like, hey, that might be something. And so from what I understand, when she's waitressing, she's also doing like sex work, they said. So she's, giving favors to these connected men who then hook her up with furs and things like that. And also she used to run around naked with a mink stall on. Can you imagine this broad like being like, hey, what's under the coat?
yeah, she would just be running around town naked underneath the mink.
Yeah, yeah. You think she got killed or do you think she committed suicide?
I think they killed her.
You think she came up and got like a hot shot type situation? There
Probably.
she is, the original baddie.
Costello.
No.
No.
Did you ever get any money from Maya Lansky?
I never got money from any of those fellas.
None of those
None
fellas?
of those fellas. None of these that I've been reading about, and none that I knew. They never gave me anything.
None of them.
No.
You
I
did?
don't even speak to the. I mean, I met that Charlie once or twice. I don't even talk.
What's good, Jay? How you doing, man? Shout out to Jay Costanza.
That's awesome. She's like, I don't know any of those fellas. I might
What's
have,
good?
Hey.
He's talking about Luciano, right? Lucky Luciano, is that who he's
And Meyer Lansky too, who was the Jewish guy, right? Wasn't he the Jewish guy? Yeah, like apparently she knew some guys, but the thing about her is that she didn't crack. So apparently she gets hauled in time and time again. The police are always trying to break her, and just like we saw right there in that YouTube video, she stays strong and even like gave it back to the police. Like she was a wisecracking, hard hitting, not gonna take your shit baddie, and I love it. I'm here for it because in that time and age, like women were so beaten down. You know what I mean? It's almost
Virginia
like
Hill. She was born in 1916.
Go figure. Wow. Yeah. And she died fairly young, right? I think she was like, what? Like not even 50 maybe? I don't know. But it's like a really
1966 she died. So
Yeah, I mean,
that's 50
yeah,
years.
I was gonna say 49, 50. Yeah, so she's like that. That's not even old in my opinion. But she marries like a ski instructor and moves out to, for all accounts, she's trying to keep her, because I'm sure she knew she had a target on her back. At some point they were going to come for her. She couldn't live and know the secrets if she knew,
Didn't she
and
get married to someone the last part of her life? She got
yeah,
married.
it was like a ski instructor or something. Yeah, he was supposed to be wealthy, and I don't think he was as wealthy as she originally thought. Yeah, go figure. Can you imagine? Yeah, and apparently wasn't too happy from what I understand. And so yeah, she's up at the top of a mountain. They find her dead, like you said, with the coat folded and everything. It's just odd. The whole thing is weird. And considering how Bugsy is killed, I'm wondering, did his guys blame her? Because she ultimately took like a mysterious flight like right before he's killed, and it was like odd, and it was noted. Yeah, there's her house, he's in her house, he's watching his Hollywood audition, and he gets shot famously like through the eyes. They have that picture of him laying
Yeah,
there
right through the
shut.
window,
Yeah,
right? It was
right
like
through
right
the
through.
window. Yeah, they
Yeah.
got him through the eyes. Like there was a specific reason for that, and I think it was because they thought he was like so shallow, and he was watching himself. And so I know that they like purposely aimed to get him through his eyes. But that picture, he's like laid out there all blown to bits. But she, I guess like the day before, flies out to Paris, and people thought that was weird because it was not planned. So the implication is that she was warned that like, hey, this is going to go down. Get him at your house. And that's what I think she had to do. I think she probably had to do that, and yeah, there she is going in. Also, I got to point out she was a pioneer because she wore pants to court. Back then girls were always wearing skirts. Like that was unheard of to wear pantsuits. That was a sporty thing. Like I
And
said, she
then
was the first baddie.
1934, Arlene Weiss is born.
Now this girl, wow.
So
I
now
just got.
Arlene Weiss, she was a whole nother.
Did you watch that interview I sent you? Did you watch?
The one it
Isn't
has a
she
part one
something?
and a part two, right?
Right. She's the best. Okay, so this girl, so Virginia Hill is her mentor. So she's a New York broad, comes up basically always idolizing Virginia Hill. She said she'd walk down the street, with the hat and the purse and the platform heels, trying to look like her, and basically gets involved with mafia guys. And she gets so involved, she's sleeping with a bunch of them. She's running drugs for them. She's a, courier. She's doing all this stuff. And, in the middle of it, apparently she's gang raped. So she gets gang raped and they don't stand up for her. She thinks for sure they're going to, take up for
Yeah.
her and
Like
have
they're
her
my
back.
friends. They're my friends. They're gonna stick
And
up for
that didn't
me.
happen. They were like, F to the no. And also you're Jewish, so you're on your own. Because apparently that was a big deal. So she was like, well, F you. And so she goes to the police. I think it was like a couple of years later. And she starts wearing a wire for like a decade. Like this
Yeah.
bitch wearing a wire for a decade with these guys. And I know she
She
put
set
like
up
a few of them away.
The
Yes.
Gambino.
This girl, oh my God. And like she refused. Okay, so after everything happens and she refuses the witness protection program too. That's how bad this bitch was. She said, I'm not going to do the witness protection program, and ended up living like very publicly like, hey, I did this, I got the mob, and if they come for me, they come for me. I mean, you saw the interview. She was crazy,
She
but I
just
love her.
died, matter of fact. Well, 2 years
Yeah.
ago,
I'm sorry to hear that too. Yeah. I mean, but she was, that's a piece of
January
work.
18th, 2020. She's
Yeah.
85 years old, 86.
Yeah, and she, apparently for almost a decade was wearing a wire with these guys in deep, doing her thing, and held her own for arguably, a decade. That's unheard of for anybody, let alone a woman in the mafia.
Yeah, they said they were gonna hurt her 18-year-old daughter, Leslie.
Right. It was
Let
some
the
kind of
kid off
like,
alone.
and she was like, F no. And so that's when she goes to the police and is like pissed off. And that's when, everything goes down. I mean, apparently she had a microphone in her bra. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
Anthony
Yeah.
Scarpetti.
Yeah.
She helped
Yeah.
convict him of the Colombo family and
I was going to say he
several
was
other
Colombo
racketeers.
family. Yeah. Yeah. He got racketeering. Yeah. So she put him away. Those interviews with her, like, I suggest for anybody who wants to know her character, watch that interview. And I think it's from like a City Confident. No, it's like Mob Wives or Mob Girls. But that interview where she's very, like we were talking about, the one thing she says that if you're watching it, your chin just drops, because she's very graphic about her life and the things that she's partaken in. She doesn't, to me, she's not, there's no falsehoods. She just kind of owns it, She's like, hey, I got around. I was easy. She says it much more graphically than that. But
Yeah, she basically uses sex to her advantage to
and she
get what
says
she wants.
that, yeah, my girl's just owning it. Yeah, totally 100% owning it. The interview with her is so like raw too.
It
I
really
mean,
is.
oh, like I was sitting there scandalized. I remember seeing it the first time and I was like, listen to this. Did she just say that? And apparently she, has written a book. I think she's got like 2 books out where she like documents her life journey,
Yeah,
tragic story with her
Mob Girl.
daughter,
One of them's called Mob
Yes.
Girl. This is the book
Yeah.
right here.
There you go.
Shout
Look
out
at
to
how cute.
Red, man. Hey, Red. Lisa's not a guest, man. She's the co-host, man. So, if you guys didn't know, we have a phone number you can call in to the show. It's 860-414-0303. And I'm not using the headphones no more, so you guys can call right through the computer and we'll answer your questions the best we can. But yeah, it was pretty insane watching that.
Yeah.
So it
Well,
says after uh she refused to participate in the witness protection program.
because she's like, I would be dead anyway, or something like that. Like she says something like, if I did that, I'd be dead anyway. Like she owned it. And then not only that, but like when she gave interviews, apparently was really open to like, here I am in Florida, come get me if you want to, because here I am. Like she owned it.
And her
Yeah.
daughter was started getting hooked on drugs, right?
Yeah, and then passed away of AIDS like in her 30s, from what I understand. So like tragic, sad story.
But Arlene was in that interview. I seen that she got real emotional in one part, and she's like, "I was
Yeah,
there for the last 4 years of Leslie's life,"
yeah,
and
yeah. That
it's crazy. Maybe
Well,
she's
like
trying to
the
make up.
story about how she met her husband, like I don't get scandalized easy, but that she's like, so I was on my 9th abortion and I'm in the abortion clinic and I came out and there's this lovely man and we're married 2 months later. I'm like, damn girl, how do you segue from your 9th abortion to like a date that ultimately leads to your husband? Like I wouldn't even be thinking about date. Like what is she thinking? And like what kind of guy picks up a girl that's like getting an abortion, and not only an abortion but like her 9th abortion? I'm not trying to badmouth her. I'm just saying that when she said that in that interview, I was like, you got to be kidding me. This
She
bitch just
obviously
told.
doesn't know when to use protection or you know.
Well, like back then, I mean, what did they even have? Like some kind of weird, I don't know. I don't even know. But yeah, I mean, it
Voodoo
was a
curse or
hard time
something.
for women. Yeah, definitely a hard time for women. You know what I mean?
I
And God
wonder if
knows,
they had any dealings with Carlos Marcella out
I
there.
wonder, I've never heard her name down here. I know that like he was managing a bunch of the strip clubs and stuff down here. Like that's a famous thing. Now all the strip clubs are so like commercial down here that it's not like they used to be at all. You know?
Thank you,
Like back.
Paul. Appreciate that, bro.
Yeah, right.
Hey, Red man, have you had any dealings with Arlene Weiss or any of these people? Because I know that you were around some of these people in Chicago. Have you ever had any dealings? He said, "Wow, the girl was something else."
She was, right?
Red, I know you were around Red. They used to call her Red, right, Arlene?
Yeah, yeah. She was hot too in her day. She was really pretty. She almost looked like a X-rated Rita Hayworth or something. You know what I mean? Definitely beautiful girl. And lived that life. Like she was about it. Made no apologies either. Like very much owned it and was just, this is who I am, this is what I've done, and I'm unapologetically myself. And I guess
Red
that
says I sure was around her.
wow.
That's crazy. Hey, if you want to come on and talk about her,
I would love to hear a story about her.
I'll drop the link in the chat if you want to jump on here, Red, and talk about Arlene or any of the dealings you had with any of those people from back then. Because we're trying to dig into the female aspect of the mafia and some of the roles that they played throughout history. I mean, they were saturated throughout the life.
And like what I think it is I think they get addicted to the life as much as the men. Like I think it's just like, like in Goodfellas, like Karen Hill says, there's the scene, the famous scene where he goes and like bashes the dude over the head with the gun, and she's like, other girls, like my best friend would have, not hitting the gun, but I gotta be real, it turned me on. So I think there are women out there that just get turned on by the idea of that high risk lifestyle like that. So I think it's all that thing of like these high risk guys. Like even your girl Arlene, she kind of owns it and is like, there's nothing like a wise guy. Like she even says that. Like she sounds like she's smoking like Marlboro Reds, like talking about it. But like, yeah, like there's girls, and I think they're just, and I can even say like as like just recent that show Mob Wives that was on like a couple years back, and they had Big Ange. Do you remember her?
Yeah, yeah. Matter
Yeah,
of
right.
fact,
I
I
love her. She's so
interviewed her
iconic.
sister
Oh
on
my
my show. Yeah,
God.
with Staxx.
I miss her so much. Who doesn't miss her? But I just remember she gave an interview and she was like, if you've ever dated a wise guy, then you know what, they're like. And she's like, there's nothing like a wise guy. There's something else, So apparently it's some kind of weird addiction with these girls. What's her sister like? Is she amazing?
It's great. Her name's
Yeah.
Janice. Shout out to Janice.
Hey,
She has a
Janice. Oh
cool
my
book
gosh.
out there. She's been on my show twice, I think. She's great people. Her and Dominic, her husband, Dom.
Red says, trust when I say some of these women were rough. I imagine they would have to be to survive in that kind of lifestyle. You would have to be a certain degree of a rough girl, wouldn't you? I mean, just to survive it.
I mean, the treachery that's going on. How many of
Right.
these people are sleeping with the same woman?
And then like not only that, but like we're talking pre-cell phone, pre-social media, pre-email. So like everything they're doing, if someone's out, they're really out, So there's no like tracing people through GPSs on their phone. So these guys were like out doing the footwork. If a girl
Like
was
little
cheating, they were
Augie.
following, and yeah.
Like little Augie.
They were watching him that night. Yeah, he went out to eat and he was like, I'm just gonna go get some meatballs. And they're like, no, you're not, So yeah, F and A. They're
They're like,
freaking
not
taking notes.
tonight.
Not tonight. Yeah, you and the beauty queen, you're both going out. Yeah. But Arlene, I'm surprised that even in her old age, like especially when she gave that last interview, I'm so surprised that no one ever came for her. I'm surprised.
I know, because she did a lot of damage to the mob.
She did, and she really owned it and was very matter of fact about it. If you watch the interview, she's so unapologetic.
Yeah,
you have to respect her for that, though. You have to have a degree of respect for that,
Did you see the part where she's like, he was on the stand and I started getting attracted to him?
I love it. Yeah, and you're like, you crazy broad. Yeah, that's the oddest thing in the world. I love her. I love how she was just talking about how she like went from guy to guy. She was very diplomatic about it. You know what I mean? Yeah. She was like, I had to make myself available. So I guess that's what you have to do.
She said she didn't want to be she didn't want to be a mob wife. She wanted to be a mistress because they have more perks and more benefits.
I agree with that, because she said they don't get to go anywhere. And the mistress gets to go and get wined and dined and all that stuff. Critical mom wives, they have more. Yeah, I agree. The Babe Ruth of Hitman. Wow, I never knew that. The Babe Ruth of Hitman. I love that. That's so cool. What a cool nickname.
I didn't even hear that name out of Frankie Sway. Oh,
wow.
Wait, yeah, I have heard that name.
That's so cool. That's awesome.
Father, the critical mob wives. Nora Swice on there. You put her father in prison. She's probably not happy with you then.
No.
Sure she is, man. But hey.
Well, yeah, because they had two of those mob wives, and the one had put the other's like husband in prison or something like that. I can't quite remember, but all of them's like husbands were in prison. You know what I mean? I love Big Ange though. Big Ange was great. I miss her.
Jay Costanza says, Lisa, have you ever dated any mob guys?
No, although I've had stupid ones try to tell me that they're connected. And we all know the first rule about that is that if you are, you don't tell anybody. So yeah, I doubt very much. You know what I mean? My sister had a guy like that. He was like, I'm connected. I'm like, well, first thing, he wouldn't be telling you that. Second, he wouldn't be driving a Honda Civic. Just saying.
Probably not.
No, and like we're talking an old one. Like we're talking like, So yeah, just saying. Had to point a few things out. Had to point that out.
Converter cut off. Several women I knew carried pistols in their bra, like Nora.
I would.
Hey.
I would, like a little, yeah.
Trust me, when I was running wild on the streets, I used to hang out with with a chick. She knows who she is. She probably might be watching this show. She was crazy, man. She would beat girls up and drag
Why do
them
I
by
get a feeling that
their
you
hair.
have a couple like that in your past?
My sister's crazy like that too. Shout out to my
I
sister. I'm having a nephew. I'm having a new nephew.
that's
No,
nice.
a new niece. She's having a
Nice,
daughter.
okay. Nice, nice.
So congratulations to my sister.
I come from a long line of crazy women myself, so I hear you. Crazy mama, crazy grandma, crazy great grandma. Yeah, they're all crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
long
come
line of
from a
them.
crazy line of women too, but it stops here. It continues with the rest of the family. But so yeah, this chick, Arlene Weiss, where she ended up leaving, right?
Right, she goes to Florida and she ends up basically getting sick, as she gets older. She's in an assisted living facility because Leslie, her daughter, passes away. I think she wrote, 2, 3 books, something like that. And then she ends up dying. From what I understand, she gets dementia and ends up dying pretty much alone. I thought that was so sad too. I was like, what a sad end for her. But I mean, honestly, at least she didn't get killed. I guess we got to look at the positive and that she didn't get her, brains blown out or something. And maybe the fact that she had dementia, they were like, let's just leave her alone. It's not even worth it.
Because when you
Whoever's
get
still out
dementia, you
there.
start forgetting things, right?
Right, right. Yeah. So maybe that's like a little contributing factor to where they were just like, let's leave it alone. It just got to
Honestly,
the point.
I think the mob got to a certain point where they're like, we just can't go around killing people anymore.
Well, honestly, is there any, I don't think there's even a mob nowadays. Is there? Is there really? Yeah, and if there is one, we're not going to know about it because they're not going to be on social media with a Facebook page and
Well, I
a
mean,
TikTok
there
and,
are well-known mob guys who have lineage through their family,
but
and
they're not doing what they used to do, like shaking down businesses and running strip clubs, right?
I
Yeah,
mean, who knows?
maybe. Yeah, we wouldn't hear about it, would we? Yeah.
Probably not until they get
No,
busted for it.
until they get
But
busted, right? And
every
then they get
couple
their
of
own
months,
YouTube channel.
every couple of months, there's a bus going on, Colombo bus, a
Yeah,
Banana
true.
bus, and they're infiltrated in garbage and all this other stuff all throughout the East Coast. I don't know throughout the rest of the country, but I'm sure they have their hands in a lot of things.
Gotcha. Well, they got a lot of rumors down here, and it used to be majority of the strip clubs, gambling, so they had a lot of that. But oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. But yeah, so I don't know. I wonder to myself if they still have it because they do have rumors that there is still, people that are working for Marcellus here, but I don't know about it. You know what I mean? Everything's so commercial, and I can't see where it would be any shady undertones of the underworld. You know what I mean?
So, have you heard about the mob guy? I think it was in Italy, and his wife donated some rings or jewelry or something years
Donated, huh?
ago. Donated it to the church. So I guess they got a divorce or whatever happened, and the husband, he's a mob boss. He was trying to extort the nuns because he wanted the jewelry back.
Oh my God.
He's like, I want the jewelry back. Somebody's gonna get hurt, and he's threatening these nuns.
Nuns.
So he's in custody now. He got arrested a couple days ago for threatening to kill these nuns.
How do you talk your way out of killing a bunch of nuns and just let it go? Oh my God, that's crazy. That's insane. That was in Italy?
I'm pretty sure it was.
Well, that's a whole different degree of mafia over there. You know what I mean? I was just reading the other day about that little boy that got put in the cage, the little prince or whatever. Not women in the mafia related at all, but the whole Italian mafia, that's a whole other, because they were savage. And I wonder what kind of girls they have working for them, you know? So,
right here, 9 indicted for mafia-led racket in New York, August 19th.
Do they have pictures?
Um,
Curious to see what these guys look like. Do they still wear the suits and are they unassuming?
they don't. They're here. I'll show you pictures of newer mafia members.
Let's see. Okay, so I know here, they have a woman that's called the Pontchartrain Beach Jane Doe, And there was a girl that was found in the water dead here. But the reason she's significant is because it was like in the early 80s and she had breast implants. And it was like before breast implants were as popular as they are today. So the theory being that whoever got them had to have money and know people to get them. And they found out that she was from New Jersey. Wow, really? Look at them. They look the types though. Wow, they got named Tugboat and Ralphie. Wow. I would not want to piss off any of these guys.
Yeah, they're in my area, a couple of them too.
So let's not say anything bad about them. But the consensus is that that girl was a mafia like woman and that somebody came and dumped her down here. And they've never found her identity, but they call her the Jane Doe from Pontchartrain Beach. So I don't know. You know what I mean?
Jay Costanza says Staxx Nora hangs out at Richard's Bar. We were down there at Richard's Bar. I grabbed a couple sodas there. I've been there twice this year.
That's awesome.
No, 3 times. I've been to Richard's Bar 3 times. I have a whole bunch of footage in there, and it's pretty cool. It's a good, it's a dope spot.
Is it?
Yeah, it's an old mob bar, like a mob hangout bar.
Dude, Red knows everything. Yeah, they had numbers on them to identify. Yeah, and they were able to identify them that they were from New Jersey. And so for some reason, they assumed that she was dating a mafia guy. I don't know how the police came to that assumption, but they've never found her identity. So I guess just because of the breast implants and that being something that was like, you have to know somebody that would know somebody to be able to get them done. Yeah, weird. I've always thought that though, because I've always had the, and I think she was pregnant too. Yeah, crazy story.
Yeah, I got another picture of some more.
Let's see these guys. Let's see them. Let's see them.
I think these are some of the Gambinos. They might be. They're just like the normal people.
Wow, Policia. Oh yeah, but they kind of have that little swag to them, don't they?
Yeah, I mean you can tell, kinda.
Yeah.
But. So they found one guy and he had like Kmart clothes on, and they're like, "My boss not gonna wear Kmart clothes."
He's probably like sick.
But he was like, "What do you think they're gonna wear? They're gonna wear what everybody wears.
What everybody wears.
Like, I don't think they're gonna wear $50 million
right
hand-painted ties like John Gotti did. You know?
Well, if they do, they're gonna stick out for sure because everybody remembers Gotti for that. And it wasn't frowned upon for sure, Let's see. Be treated to the doctor. Gotcha. Trace to the doctor. Yep, that's what they said.
I want it to be sold.
That's exactly what it is because they think that she was mob connected. That was the big under rumor here is that this girl was, and I don't know why police or investigators came to that assumption. And I guess it was something to do with the breast implants. I still think it's such a fascinating story. Yeah. I've always thought that, Red, that they don't want to solve it. I've always thought that, The guy was selling his boat in Las Vegas. Oh, wow. He knows all kind of secrets.
Yeah,
wow,
he does.
That is on like only the New Orleans like Reddit boards down deep the rabbit hole. I'm surprised he knows that. Good on you, Red. Okay, Red knows things. That's cool. Mafia night
looks as good as Dapper Dawn.
You gotta admit he looked good. You gotta admit that man wore some beautiful suits. He really did.
Yeah,
I heard this story about like him being in this bar and seeing these newlyweds and like he bought like the whole bar drinks and get some, they had this huge firework display. So he was like very charismatic and charming. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you can be ruthless too.
Oh my God, 100%. I've heard those YouTube videos of him where he's like pissed off and he is pissed,
Oh yeah, I played
talking about Sammy. Yeah, I've heard him. Yeah, you can't make that up. He's just livid and he's going a mile a minute.
No, there's one where he's yelling at his grandson.
I think I remember that.
Because he wanted to be a cop for Halloween or something like that. He's like, you ain't gonna be no damn cop.
My mom would probably be the same way. My mom would be like, didn't I raise you better?
Matter of fact, this is his last mugshot from right after his conviction with his painted tie. This is the famous mugshot.
Wow.
And this is the image that I have on the hoodies that I have for sale. So if you want
that's so cool.
That says they're pretty dope.
That is pretty cool.
I have like a little commercial type thing that I recorded, and
that's so cool. Yeah. I need to make one with Arlene on it.
Yeah, right.
I know, right? I
She
wonder if
was
people would recognize it. Be like, mad
Arlene was a
respect,
rough looking
mad
woman.
respect. But you know what? In her youth, she was hot. In her youth, she was a good looking lady. Let's be real, she was hot. But you know, if you live that kind of life, you're gonna look rough. I can't think that like you're gonna look good. You know, late nights, drugs. She probably was stressed the fuck out all the time. I mean, I can't imagine this girl not being stressed. I mean, and you know, she's got that famous line, you know, about her reputation and her prowess.
$8,000 suits, man. My suit's like a couple $100, few $100 at the most. I mean, if a jacket costs like two something, that's a lot of money, man. That's a
It
lot of
is. It
me.
is.
It is just for a jacket. Like that's a lot of money. But if you want to look good, you're gonna pay the money to look at this rough picture.
That's a rough picture. But she looked good when she was young. She was beautiful when she was young.
She wore her lips out. Her
Yeah.
lip has
Big
a
time.
flat tire.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, she definitely did not hold back in that interview. You know, I remember years ago seeing that on TV, and when she says that one line and she's like, whatever you say, nobody in town was beep like me. I was like, oh my
But
God, my girl just
Virginia
went
Hill
there.
said that a long time
I
ago.
know,
Didn't
that's
she?
nuts. Apparently, she mirrored her life like 100%. That was just her mentor. She even like the whole look with the big hat, the whole brimmed hat. That was like the look, you know? It was hot.
Wow, that is raw.
Yeah.
Her lip has a flat tire.
And that's like pre-plastic surgery and stuff. And she looks like she's had like work done, but I don't think she did. I just think she's worn out. That's a cool picture with the gun. That's a really cool picture. What is that, like a little 22 or something?
I think it's a 38.
Yeah, I was gonna say like a little 38, a little snub nose or whatever. Yeah. Look at me trying to figure it out like I know. Yeah, she's pretty.
Lisa
Look.
Carpenter wrote the book Mob Girl. This is the
Gotcha.
book of Arlene, I think.
Yeah. Just pretty much an autobiography of like her life and stuff. Yeah. And I mean, honestly, she does not hold back. She's pretty savage in this book. Like the parts I read, I was like, some of it I was like, damn, girl, like how I would just want to take a break. I would not want to do that, hop from these guys to these guys and like always be questioning if, you know, they would think that like I was going to rat him out. And then ultimately she gets gang raped. So obviously there was no loyalty anywhere. You know what I mean? Like these guys, like she knew them. She's at a bar and they bring her down into the basement. And, you know, next thing you know,
Because
she's, you know,
she denied their advances. That's why.
advances and they're
Yeah.
like, you know, right. So I mean, and it was a different time back then. So, you know, in those days, what do? You go to the police about that? No, because she's in her own way connected. So she was, you know, screwed at that point. So I mean, I would be livid. And then she thought her people would have her back and they didn't. They're like, you're on your own, sis. You know,
Yeah,
it's the
'cause
boys club.
I mean, they all stuck together, and but back then they would do things like that, and
I know, it's terrible. It makes you think of all the people that like went through things like that didn't get any kind of justice. Like
yeah,
nobody
or
was
that didn't
there.
say anything that people don't know about. How many
I
times did
mean,
this happen? You
I
know,
almost feel like it was almost like any pretty girl that was in that, because like we were talking about Janice, like how did she get caught up into the life? You know, was it just somebody she met and she gets introduced to somebody, and at the end of the day, she's kind of an innocent girl wrapped up in this lifestyle that ultimately gets her killed. You
and
know,
she was hopping around from guy to guy too.
from guy to guy, yeah, pioneer, way before her time. Unlike Virginia Hill, who was like straight up like, I'm gonna go do porn. It's the 40s, I'm doing porn, straight from
This
waitressing to
one's
sex work.
married. Janice Drake's married
With
to
a kid. With a
to like
kid.
a semi-famous comedian.
And I
So
think he owned a few nightclubs. Like, didn't he own some nightclubs or
he was in
something?
the Sanford and Sons after she
Oh my
died.
God, I
Did you know
saw
that?
that. I couldn't
Yeah.
even believe when I saw the cameo. I'm like, that's that guy. That's crazy to me. That's nuts.
What
Yeah, of
was his
all
name?
things.
What was his name? Do you remember?
Alan Drake.
Alan.
Alan Drake. Yeah, and he was like a low-key comedian and had done some acting things, and he owned like I think 3 bars across New York. So, you know, one might think that she might have met them in the bars. Like maybe she was hanging out in the bars that her husband owned and, you know, late night connected people, you know, somehow meshed with her, you
I
know?
wonder what his true thoughts were when she
I
got killed.
know. Did you
Like,
read his quote in the paper where he was like, "She's the best wife ever"? And I'm like, I don't know how you can be saying that. She was like on a date with another guy. I guess he was saving face for their kid. Yeah, there he is. That's quite the
right.
suit. That's quite the suit. Speaking of suits, look at that. What is that? A leisure suit? Is that what that is? That's impressive.
He's got the big collars, big 70s
Yeah,
collar.
yeah, sideburns, the whole 9 yards. Yeah.
But it's crazy to years down the road how he's on TV shows and the things that he been through back
Right.
then. To I wonder, he's probably dead by now.
Yeah, I read that he passed on, but he did give another interview about her. I can't remember what it was, but it was like, something in regards to her murder. And I think it was like police touching base with him and talking about how they were going to find the people who did it. And then like talking about how the investigation was still open. And he was talking about it was like the 1 year anniversary and how he was trying to raise their son the best he could with her memory. So, and that's the last you really hear about it. So, maybe he found somebody else and moved on. I didn't read about him remarrying after her, though. I don't know if he did, but yeah, I mean, he was nice. I don't know many husbands that would have been too nice, that she was out on a date with another mafia guy. I mean, kind of the implication is made. I heard that they were going to Miami too. Did you hear that?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So, like, what did that trip entail? Is she like sharing a room with him? Who was watching her kid? What did
Yeah,
she
like
tell
they
him? Like,
said that he linked up with the guy, but they were already together.
they
Don't.
were already together. Yeah. It's like when she found Nat Nelson, they say that she found him the next morning. I totally think she spent the night and he got, popped at some point during the morning. That's what I think.
Ex-governor Rob Blasio spent 450K in clothes as a governor of
Wow.
Illinois, and he wasn't a gangster, but at times thought he was. Listen, the government is the new mob. Like they
Yeah.
took over. They don't have to strong arm. They don't have to beat people up, and you're gonna give them your money because you have no choice. It's what it is.
It's always been that way.
Yeah, it's just getting worse now. Like it's getting really crazy with the restrictions on things you can say, things that you can't even speak your mind. They're banning people on YouTube and this and that. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. Yeah. But then you got guys like Sammy the Bull that are huge YouTube stars that are
It's
selling
insane.
greetings and birthday wishes, no problem. I'm like, y'all know he was a hitman for the mafia, right? Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love him to death. I think he's awesome. But in the same breath, it's hilarious to me that people are getting birthday greetings from him. Happy birthday from Sammy the Bull. In saying that, would I get one? Yes, in a second. If I could afford one and I wasn't broke, I would totally get one. I'd be like, Sammy the Bull, wish me happy birthday.
I don't know. I don't think I would.
Really? I think I would just to I know it's horrible. I'm probably going to go to hell, but I'm going there anyway. So, all the interesting people will be there anyway, but
I mean, I've been wanting to get Sammy on my show for a while, and I want to ask him the questions that other people won't ask him. Like they won't.
really.
Yeah, and I reached out to him, and we'll see
I
what
think
happens.
he's scared because if you ever see interviews with him, I find that he kind of tap dances around a lot of the I guess brutality of, some of the things he did, you
Because I got
know?
some major hardcore questions for him,
Oh,
and
I would love to see that. That would be so cool. It's
hey,
funny too cuz like
if he comes on, I'll ask him all the questions that I want to, because he says, I'm concerned with drugs in America. You're dealing drugs with your family. Don't give me that shit.
didn't
Like,
he have an ecstasy ring or something with his
yeah,
kids?
you were
Yeah,
fully
something.
involved with that. You were giving them money. You were they were using your name as muscle. Don't give me that shit. You trying to
That's
form your
crazy.
own little mafia. Now that he's a free man and doing his thing, now he trying to form his own legal mafia.
Yeah.
Kinda. It's kinda like what it is, right?
Yeah, kind of. Oh, he makes a lot of money on YouTube. I know that. Like he's making a killing, you know? Pictures Miami most stayed at the Diplomat Hotel. Wow. Yeah, I've heard about the Diplomat Hotel.
Sammy has more bodies than Dahmer.
Yeah, I'll bet.
Sammy
Well,
has
that,
19 and Dahmer had 17 or like
wow. Is that true? That's
yeah,
amazing. That's nuts.
19 murders.
That's kind of crazy when you think about it like that. Yeah.
What's up, Jimmy? How you doing, man? What about you, Jimmy? Was there a lot of mob chicks around? you're up around Bath Avenue when you were growing up? Was there a lot of women that wanted to be around the guys? We'll never go on your show. He reads a script on his broadcast.
I have heard that also. I've heard that some of his things are produced and, there are show ideas and things like that,
Hey, it's all good.
I think he would be scared too because of those
Probably.
questions. Yeah.
It's all good.
Yeah.
I don't need him to come on my show to make
It
me.
would be cool though. I would love to see him try to dance around some of the things, because I know you'd ask something.
I
Trigger.
got real good ones for him.
Yeah,
Like,
he'd be triggered. I'm sure.
yeah, he would jump across the table.
Yeah,
If
most
I was in
likely.
front of him, probably.
Well, he just got worked up recently and was having a feud with another guy. Remember all that? And
Francis.
yeah, like they had a big old feud between the two of them, and he was like, you can come meet me out, and they were, it was funny. I was like, you're like 80, you need to stop.
Yeah,
You're
but
gonna
that was
break
all
a hip.
scripted. I think, honestly, that was all scripted bullshit too.
For views, like they're both trying to get. Yeah, probably so. Yeah.
A lot of it is, but there's some that's out there that's not scripted. Some of the stuff that other people are trying to say, that's scripted. No, it's not scripted. They don't listen to it. Like they hear what they want to hear. You know what I'm saying? Sammy the Bull's a jerk off. I agree with you, Mike John. Straight up jerk off.
Let's see.
He lies about so many things. It's insane.
I've heard that too. I've heard other people say that too. I've heard, well, I mean, if you ever read his comments, they're not the best. I wonder who his old lady was. Is he still with his old lady? Like, probably not.
Yeah,
Huh?
no, I think they got divorced, but he killed his sister's boy, or he killed his wife's brother.
Yeah, because I remember that being like that. Yep, I remember that. Yep. It was the one that he was reaching up on the shelves and he got him in the back of the head, right? His back to him type thing.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, and didn't the first shot miss him, so he had to do it again?
And then he's like, "Oh, your brother, he'll be okay. He'll be fine."
That's so cold. That's so
that
cold.
Shit,
Belty.
Sammy's a loose cannon. He has a temper he can't control. Yeah, he does.
Well, I've seen that on some of his, the one guy who really triggered him, I don't know, I think it's the Michael guy you were telling me about, but when they were going back and forth, something he said just freaking set him off one night, and your boy was going a mile a minute. I was like, oh my God, he's going to have a stroke.
I know a lot of people that can't control their temperature. Or
so do I.
Their temper. Once you poke them a little bit, they just fucking lose their shit.
Can you?
Me? I don't know.
Yeah.
It takes me a very lot for someone to push me over the edge. I don't fucking I let things go in life. I really don't have time for the bullshit. I'm full steam ahead, focused on my future and being positive and staying away from garbage that's out there, You
got to. That's like Arlene. I wonder if she had a lot of cat fights and stuff. I get the feeling that she was the type of broad that knew her way around a cat fight. You know what I mean?
It's like if these mob guys are coming into a club, right? And say the girl's with one mob guy.
Yeah.
She's not going to get into it with the other girls that are with the other guys. You seem like that type too, right?
You would think so. It's always portrayed though that they're very organized when they have multiple women. They had apartments and setups for them. I mean, the interview that Arlene gave, she said that they were buying her apartments and paying her rent, and then she had them on a scheduled rotation. So Mondays and Tuesdays were so-and-so, Thursdays and Fridays, so-and-so, the weekend's mine. And then Monday, it's right back to it. One guy's paying the rent, one guy's paying for the clothing, the other guy's paying for the car. You know what I mean? And then on top of it, she's getting jewels. And then this other guy, and that's the thing that was really cool about her, is that this other guy taught her all this stuff about investing. So she invested a whole bunch of money and apparently was pretty money savvy until she wasn't. But hey, that happens to everybody. But yeah, way ahead of her time. Yeah. I wonder if she always had a gun with her. I bet you she did. Yeah, the type always carried one. Yeah.
Probably a little one tucked under her garter belt or something.
Or something like that. Something like that. Right. Yeah, something.
But there's a lot of stories to go over with this whole women of the mafia. If I don't know if I told you, I think. We got our first guest coming on the show.
Oh my
I
God, so
scheduled
excited.
it.
Yes, so
It's coming.
excited.
It's coming soon.
So I
We
was
got
looking at, I'm not going to say about anything about her or what you told me about it, but I was looking.
we got
Yes.
Angelia
Ah,
Blanco
yes.
coming on the show.
Now, talking about baddies, there you go. There's the original right there, because I was reading about her and I'm like, I cannot wait to talk to her. Like, my sister's been through a lot and I'm here
Yeah.
for it. Like, not only that, it's Chicago, so, and since she was like a kid, so like her whole life, apparently like she's incarcerated for many years. She gets out, completely redeems herself. She would have a very interesting take. I would be curious to see what she would think about women like Arlene and Virginia Hill and Karen, and Janice
Yeah.
Drake. I would be curious what she thinks about people like that. You know what I
Matter of
mean? When
fact,
you choose that lifestyle and you subscribe to it,
when I was
Her,
doing some research for one of these stories, she was in one of the documentaries I was
that's so
watching.
cool. That's
Oh,
so cool.
shit.
I'll bet she was. I know I was looking at some of her stuff just recently because you would show me, and I'm like just, devouring everything. And I saw a couple of her interviews, and I'm like, this is probably the coolest chick ever. Like, I
She's a great
absolutely love,
inspiration. She is.
because I love stories like that. You know what I mean? That people can hit rock bottoms and come back stronger and better. I would be
She
so
is.
curious to see what her take is on like girls that survive through the mafia. What's the psychology behind it? Why do people choose?
Oh shit, we're having technical difficulties. She probably got a phone call or something. Hold on a minute, she'll be right back. I think her phone just froze up. Gravanas are trash. Karen had to resort to black guy after Italians disowned him. That's true.
Oh God, that's terrible. He did not just say
When the
that.
women went in the bathroom at the clubs and cat fights. They're trash. Disown them. She's trash. Went out of her. Went out with her. And for years, she was in love with him. She
That's
lies.
Sammy's daughter.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I know there was a big controversy because, she dated a black guy, and at first he was like really against it. And so, like, they had a whole episode. I know I watched them Sucker, I totally got into it. But, like, I gave him kudos because for a guy who was like so ultimately a racist, he was so accepting.
Come on, he was a mob guy and he's a rat. Like, he's
Yeah,
accepting of that, so he's got to be
it was like,
accepting of the other shit. He
and
has no
it was
choice. He doesn't have a
the funny.
choice.
And then the granddaughter is doing the same thing apparently. So he's like having to just accept it and go with it. It's like, it's a whole new generation. I'm wondering what he thinks of it. He's pissed off
Listen.
90% of the time. He's going to have a stroke. I'm telling you.
Oh, he is not happy. I don't care what he says. None of that shit. That dude is not happy. He is angry. He is accepting it because he has no choice. Just like accepting the fact that he is a rat. Squeak, squeak.
Somebody called him that and he flipped out too. He doesn't take that well. That's a trigger word for him. You would think he'd be a little bit more used to it by now and just kind of let it roll off, but no. Awesome co-host, beautiful. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you so much.
Hey man,
Thank you.
it's okay. That's why I run her on, so you guys can watch her, and she's a wealth of information too. So
yeah, I can just go on and on. Yeah, I talk way too much. I get too excited about this stuff. Yeah.
Justice for Alan Kaiser. Alan Kaiser is the kid that Sammy the Bull killed.
Wow. Okay.
Shot him in the back.
Why did he kill him?
Some mob shit, but he
Just
had nothing to do with the mob. Like,
what do you think of the dude that accidentally killed Gotti's kid that went missing? The one that shot, no, he hit him with his car, and then two people, like, they see him getting stuffed in the back of a van, and they never find him again.
I think you should have watched where you were going.
And then not only that, but, like, apparently he had the car in the front with the dent, and, like, he didn't move it, and, like, left it like that. Like, I would be livid. And, like, who gets over the death of a child? He should have got the hell out of town. Like, what was your boy thinking,
Especially
I'm wondering.
When knowing who you're dealing with. Once
who you're dealing with.
Who people are, you get the hell out of there.
Do you think Sammy got rid of him, or do you think he got, like, another team of guys? Or do you think it was Sammy?
I don't know. I don't.
That's it.
Sammy
I'm
never
wondering
told
too.
that story, right?
Yeah, I never heard that story, but I've always wondered like if he was part because it was like two guys that like throw him in the back of a van in front of a bunch of witnesses. Like he
Yeah,
was
while Gotti was on vacation in
on
Florida at the
vacation,
time.
right,
Just
right,
so
something like that.
happens.
It's a
He lies
fascinating
about
story, yeah.
the Louis Melito hit also.
Right. And then they never found the guy's body. They never found his body, you know? So I'm sure they freaking worked him over. That dude freaking probably by the time it was done was praying for death. You know what I mean?
They killed his kid. Like he ran his
Yeah.
kid over, so it had to be really bad for him.
Yeah, yeah. And they said he never quite got over that. Well, how do you get over a period? You don't, you know? And you know, I've never heard about Gotti having any mistresses. Have you?
Very few people know who was on the hit team, huh?
Yeah, I've never heard of Gotti having any mistresses either. I'm sure he did, but I've never heard about any of his
I
mistresses
haven't either.
ever. You would think you would, but I never have, you know?
I know. Did he not? Did he
I
not mess
know, I
around?
know.
Like
Was he the
Jimmy
one
kills his
loyal?
best friend Louis Melito, then never saw the family again. Never helped
Wow.
them out. Nothing, especially when you were Uncle Sammy to his kids. So pathetic. And he knew where
Wow.
the body is. Yeah, because he's a scumbag, man.
But you're not afraid to tell him that.
No, I'll say it right to his fucking face. And
See,
I'm
I'm
not.
afraid he's going to come for you. He's going to hear you and get pissed off. You know, he gets mad, right?
Come on,
Yeah.
Sammy. Come on, Sammy. Bring him in Connecticut. Come get me with
he,
your hit team.
he was feuding with like two different people at one point, remember? Like he was like saying he was going to go meet him out in Central Park and stuff. And I'm like, you're like 80 years old. You're going to break a hip. What are you
Hey,
doing?
he's not even allowed in New York City. That was part of his plea agreement. He's never allowed to set foot in New York City again for the
Is he
rest
in,
of his
he's in
life.
Arizona, right? Is he
Yeah,
in
he's not
Arizona or
allowed on the
something?
East Coast.
Yeah, it's an odd place for him to be. The guy
Your
who
best
caught the
friend's
bear.
Louis Melito. You can't even give him a proper burial.
Wow.
Gotti, mistress one was Neil Delacroce's daughter.
Wow, who knew that? That's amazing. I wonder if that didn't catch a scandal, you know? It had to.
Sammy's a
Okay.
clown. I'll slap him so hard his mother will feel it. I've been in his house before. He's a clown.
Oh my God.
He's concerned about the drugs in the country now.
Did he really say that though? It
Yeah,
wasn't.
yeah.
No, he didn't. No, he
I
didn't.
swear on his last video he said that.
He said
I got
that.
no I got no I can't tolerate the
What
bullshit.
a weird thing for him to even like put out there. Like, don't you remember who you are? That's
Don't
crazy.
you
I don't know
remember
if I.
running a drug enterprise with your kids? Like,
That's like, you know, giving a dare speech high or something, you know?
and listen, I don't give a fuck. I guarantee you that something that he's dealing with is not on the up and up.
Oh God, I don't think he's the
I'll
type
put
of
money
guy.
on it.
I don't think he could do something and stay straight. I don't think that people like that, wise guys as they say, I don't think they have that in them. The whole
No.
way they survive is by like hustling and shaking people down. You know what I mean? And it would piss me off if like somebody came to me and I had like a business that I brought up and they're like, yeah, you have to give us 50% or we're going to beat the hell out of you every day. You know what I mean? That's the way they've always survived. Sammy Green's daughter is super fine. I know.
She is
Yeah,
hot. She is
she is.
smoking hot.
Karen and the granddaughter. The granddaughter is
Karen's
really pretty
not.
too.
Karen's a fucking rough mess, I think.
Do you remember when, okay, on the
Oh,
Mob Wives episode, when she found her boyfriend in bed with another girl? Like comes home and she was dating this guy named Storm, and it was a black guy, and she comes home and she finds him in bed with another girl, and he's like, she forgot her keys, and this girl believed him, and she's like, well, we talked about it, and she forgot her keys, and I'm like, are you stupid? Like, what the hell? And then I think he beat her up and stuff like that. Like, I think they both got domestic, you know, things on them. So what the hell?
I'm trying to find the picture. Hold on.
She's a big girl too. Karen's big, yeah. And Drita stole Karen's man, from what I understand.
Hold on. Let me get a real flattering picture of her.
For the daughter, or, Karen?
Here's Here's one with here's one with her, the daughter, and Sammy.
Let's see. Yeah, Sammy doesn't look that great nowadays. He
No,
looks like he's gonna
Sammy
kill
looks like
over.
a fucking crypt keeper.
He does too. Poor guy. And he's
Poor
got like
guy. This fucking guy killed
I
19 people.
know.
19 people.
I just don't want him to come for me. I don't want him to get pissed off. Oh yeah, I see. I think she's kind of pretty. You don't think she's kind of pretty?
Definitely not.
No.
Yuck.
See, I think she's kind of pretty. I know.
Disgusting.
No, yeah.
Hold
Well,
on.
she
I
wasn't
gotta
the
find a better
brightest.
picture.
She wasn't the sharpest tool in the shed, that's for sure.
Definitely not.
I remember on that show and just being like, girl, you would think you would have better sense, but she did not. She did not. And her
Here,
granddaughter seems like she's pretty cute. She's adorable.
Here, I got one for you. I got a good one for you. Here's a good one.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's her. That's a cool picture. That's air. Oh, yeah.
Here's Karen Gravano.
Well, that's the difference between airbrushing, isn't it? My goodness. That's quite a stark difference
There's
right
the
there.
difference between filter.
Yeah.
Filter?
Yeah, I think that's
No
Storm right
filter.
there. That was Storm.
Filter.
That's Storm. That's the boyfriend. That's the boyfriend. Yeah, like she legit. There was an episode she comes home and there's another girl like in her house, in her bed. And he's like, oh, she forgot her key. And like she ends up like at the end, like believing it. I'm like, this girl right here, she's crazy.
Partners in Crime podcast. What's up, Bill?
In the house?
Gotti went out with Neil Delacroce's daughter.
I didn't know that. Can you find a picture of her? I wonder how.
What was her name? Does anyone know her name?
That probably didn't go over well. I thought would think daughters would be off limits, I know the one dude had like an affair with his housekeeper and everybody flipped out.
Yeah,
and it was the fact, and it was the fact that like they thought it was disrespectful because his wife was like passing away, and then she was like Cuban or something, so it was like mad disrespect or something.
Children. He has 4 children.
Wow.
Neil Delacroce died December 2nd, 1985. This is like 2 weeks or 3 weeks before Paul Castellano gets killed.
Wow.
The reason why they went and killed him is because O'Neill died and he didn't go to the funeral or some shit like that.
Huh. Yeah, you had to go funerals back then.
Or he couldn't stop it. He couldn't stop them from killing him. Looks like Gotti is having an affair with all in the family.
Creepy.
Leave Charlie a few nights. Oh yeah, man, what's up, bro? He was the one that called the last time we were on, remember?
Oh, cool. That's awesome, man.
Thank you, bro.
Thanks.
We plan on taking the show to the limits, man. We're gonna talk about all mob things related, and it's only gonna get better. She ain't lying. She isn't anything like your co-host. Who this mess?
I hope not. Shit.
Hey man, if you look like that, you need fucking help. Call 1-800. Get fucking off of drugs
or something. Yeah, something.
But I definitely can't wait to do this again. We're gonna have some guests on the show. We got a lot of good things coming. Angelia is gonna be one of the guests, but we got others planned too.
Can't wait. So cool. Stick around. We got a lot coming. It's gonna be fun.
Definitely. You got anyone you want to any of them you showed in pictures? Huh? Any what? But definitely we're gonna schedule another show and we're gonna get things popping. So do you want to give anyone a shout out before we go?
I want to say hi to Sammy the Bull because I don't want to be mad at me when he comes for you.
No, you can be mad at me all you want. I don't give a shit. Take it out on me, bro.
I didn't say a word. It wasn't me. I think you're cool, man. I'm not going to say a word. Not a word.
I'm gonna tag him in this video. So
I don't talk. I don't talk.
so thank you everyone for joining us tonight, and we'll be back in a couple days, a few days. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell so you can get our videos every time they drop. Till next time. Thank you.